What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and captain, Garrett Morlang, and here in the studio with me is JJ Purdom.
Consistently back on the show, bringing the band back together.
Isn't consistent? I mean, this is just the second time.
I feel
like after 3 times, it's like, okay, now you're consistently back.
I think it's like if there's a multiple, that's what a consistent is. I'm pretty sure. You can Google that.
I mean, maybe even 4 times, because even Zetch was on 3 times in a row, and he's not a consistent host. So maybe you need to be on at least 4 times before we consider you consistent again. You know?
I think you're still thinking in boy terms. I'm still in that whole super gamer man mentality, and 2 times is good. You know, I mean, it's very, very good.
Speaking of super gamer man, I made a great joke in the Discord, and Eddie was the only one who saw it, and he vetoed it. You shut it down real quick. So
see, and I saw it, and I'll tell you what, the light bulb went off behind my head, and I thought, I kind of like that. I kind of really like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead and share with the audience what it is that you came up with. Garrett told a joke.
I told it funny. So I'm a super gamer boy, and JJ is now a super gamer man. So I propose that we change the name of the podcast to Super Gamer Boys to Men.
Yeah. And there were crickets, and
it even took Eddie like a good week to respond to it. I'm like, well, I guess it wasn't that good.
I saw it, and I liked it. I was kind of happy. I was like, man,
I was proud of myself.
Maybe I'm kind of like a fungus. I'm rubbing off on you a little bit. You know, you get a little bit of that fever.
Just that cheesy dad jokes coming out. That's all.
Nothing wrong with cheesy dad jokes. They're the best.
Apparently not, because no one liked that one. Yeah. Well, you know, you win some, you lose some.
That's true. That's true. It's good to be back, man. 2 weeks in a row, I feel so blessed and awesome that people have reached out, and the feedback has been great. Had a few listeners. What's that?
So people have been loving it.
Yeah,
there's been comments on YouTube, and people reach out on social media and the Discord. People are stoked you're back.
Yeah, it's hard to read sarcasm in some of your comments. I'm not real sure when you say like, "Oh, it's so great for him to be back." See, I don't know what the inflection is, because I'm just reading words, so I don't know if they're like, "Oh, wow, the king is back on the throne." You know, I mean, I'm not sure. I take it as positive. I want to think there's not a whole lot of horrible sarcasm and stuff like that.
Well, obviously they like you back because last week's video has done the best out of any of our videos. So,
and I think the reason for that, and this is what I told Garrett, because our video did do really well on YouTube.
View-wise, it got about the same, but people watched it longer, which is kind of nice.
Right. And I think that a lot of that was, what's he going to do coming back? He's been gone for a while. What kind of crazy is he coming back with?
We hyped it up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that was the wrong move, because I don't feel like I brought too much crazy. I was like pretty low-key. I mean, I feel like I was low-key, right?
I don't know.
Except for the snorting Adderall thing, you know.
Well, you guys will just have to wait and see what happens this episode. You'll never believe it.
Now I feel like I definitely need to snort Adderall on screen right now.
This is the clickbait title at the beginning of the podcast.
I feel
You'll never believe what JJ does in his free time.
I feel like I am the easiest person for you to push. And I'm like the kid who's like, you won't eat that. Oh, yes, I will. I will eat the heck out of that. You might get sick. I won't get sick. I'm a super gamer man.
We have 2 Sega Genesis cartridges over there. I dare you to eat both of those right here on video.
Are they the repros or are they originals?
It's original. Madden 96 and 98, baby.
They might be quite tasty then, if that's the case. They might be quite tasty. Everything from the 90s was awesome.
Lots of dead skin in there. Alrighty, guys, let's get into some housekeeping quick for you. We're gonna make this snappy, man. Someone told me that our podcast dragged too much, and so we're just going to get to it. We're going to be efficient. We're going to be awesome.
Wait, who said that?
Super Gamer Boys 2.0.
Did they say that about our episode last week, or was it previous episodes where I wasn't around?
No, it was previous episodes, and it was when you were around. I think it was even you who kind of said that. You're like, yeah, there's some places we could tighten things up.
Oh, that was me that said that. Okay. I got heated for a second, but continue.
No. So here we go. I'm tightening things up. This is SGB 2.0, Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
Super Gamer Boys to Men. SGB2M. If you haven't...
Just humor him, people. Just humor him.
Please humor me. And also, please go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/supergamerboys. over there, we have some awesome tiers where you can support us. We have one, just $1 a month. You can go get episodes. This episode that we're recording currently, you can get it tonight. Audio. You can get audio version early and ad-free tonight after we record it. Monday night. You can get it. Otherwise, you're going to get it Wednesday like the other, the rest of you yahoots out there.
Yeah, the plebeians.
Yeah.
You can stand above the rest. The cream rises to the top. Exactly. And other things like that are really inspirational.
We also have some other fun tiers where you get, show notes. You can be part of the discussion on our show, leave your own opinions. Patreon producer tier where you can, pitch your own segments. Or if you want to be a sponsor, you'll get a shout out just like Bill Bird and Julie Bates, good old Grammy. You can get shout outs just like them if you sponsor us at that $10 tier. You have nothing.
No, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. You understand? I'm a man now.
I'm not going to lie. You really just caught me off guard. I don't know. I'm sure they picked it up on camera. I don't know if you picked it up on mic, but on the YouTube video, notice I kept looking at JJ because I was waiting for you to butt in and say something horrible about Bill or something like, terrible about my grandmother.
No, I would never say anything horrible about Bill. I love Bill to death. I just saw him earlier today, and I gave him a hug, and I made absolutely sure that it lasted about 35 seconds too long. And yeah, I'm one of those where I did this thing. I did this thing where when I gave him the hug, he's a lot bigger than I am. I'm only 5'4". I know I look like a posing figure. He's over 6 foot tall, like 6'2" or something like that. And I do this thing where I hugged him. And I kept it and you could feel him try to let go and pull away.
Shifted his weight a little bit.
And I did this thing where I leaned my head against his chest. Gonna miss you, buddy. Gonna miss you. And it was so uncomfortably awesome. It was amazing. Thanks for your support, Bill. And I got plenty more of that where that came from. And as far as Grammy, I could have been inappropriate, Garrett. But again, I'm a super gamer man now. I'm trying not to be a boy, and a boy does the things with the constant joking and innuendo. I guess it's okay for men to do that too. How you doing, Grammy? That's it. I got nothing. Okay. I'm being good.
Just when you become a man, now it's
that's dirtier. Yeah, right. And that's why I've got a record.
now lawsuits can happen.
Right.
Not that lawsuits can happen when you're kids, I guess, but it's different. It's different. That got dark quick.
Yeah, it did.
Shout out to the HP Video Game Podcast Network. Quick, get us out of here.
We're a part of that.
We're a part of this awesome group. There's some awesome podcasts over there. Go check those out. Remember, you can just Google that, and it'll bring up our Twitter page. You can see them. They retweet some of the new episodes coming out. And then also, I think if you go to Apple Podcasts, type in HP Video Game Podcast Network, all the shows pop up right there. Go take a gander. So this week, normally we shout out the Discord or we shout out the YouTube channel, but this week, big ol' shout out to supergamerboys.com/store because I got this baby.
That's right. He got nipples this week, folks. They're half off right now. Half off nipples on supergamerboys.com/store. Now, is that / or is it a...
You're making me all self-conscious now. I got to readjust my shirt. But
I didn't want to say anything, but I was like thinking the AC was maybe turned down too low.
I thought this shirt was actually kind of like nice, kind of like fitted. I like that. It makes my guns look bigger.
Don't ever do that again. Yeah, don't
makes
ever
me look extremely pale. That's all.
Yeah, just you really know.
My
olive oil has larger guns than you.
My problem is I have the farmer's tan from working in with our work shirts on.
Yeah.
So it's like usually in the summer I get pure white all the way down to my wrist, and there's a little bit of a brown spot because my sleeves are a little short, my arms are a little long. I'm like a monkey. So there's like a really tan spot. And then my hands are stark white because I wear rubber gloves all day doing pest control. So I have like these weird, I have like this stripe, like almost tattooed bracelet on my wrist.
When he takes his shirt off, he literally looks like Nosferatu. It's like pure lily white. You've never seen anything
translucent.
Like it.
You can only see through my skin.
He looks like Robert Pattinson in one of the Twilight movies.
Dude, did you see they put out photos of Robert Pattinson in the bat suit?
No.
I'm showing you that after the show.
Okay, is it just me or was Garrett far too excited about, did you see the picture of that man dressed up like Batman? You kind of were a little too excited about that right now, Garrett. No, so what he was saying about the store is look at this amazing shirt.
SuperGamerBoys.com/store. You can get a shirt just like this one. You can get mugs just like this one. You can get stickers just like this one.
That have faces just like these ones, and you could be, putting it on whatever. Put it on your body. Put it on top of the shirt that you buy.
If you're, if you are a Patreon supporter, you will hear this tonight. You still have time, actually, to go. There was a sale this last weekend on our store, supergamerboys.com/store. I totally forgot the URL there for a second. And use code LOVESICK, LOVSICK, all caps, and as a promo code, you get 10% off everything in our store.
It's kind of our Valentine's Day sale right now.
Valentine's Day sale. But obviously, all you other people who hear this on Wednesday, the sale will be gone. So sorry, suckers. I posted about it. It was on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, and for all you listeners who are suckers and are not supporting us yet on Patreon, you can join the party that is the Super Gamer Boys. You don't have to be left out. Because literally you can help. For only $1 a month, you could be a Patreon supporter. And every dollar counts. Not only that, if you donate enough money, you could name his next kid. Now, I'm not going to have any more. But the little, what?
Patreon was like 2 segments ago. Where has he been?
I really want to get that money.
Okay, cool. People, I'm sorry. Sorry, people. I don't know why I just keep saying people.
I just came back for the sweet cash. That's what I came back for.
Yeah, I know. You're all about that cash. I think halfway through you forgot what you were talking about and just kind of started making stuff up is what happened.
It happens all the time.
Alrighty. What do you say? It's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's time for the nerdy nudes.
Okay, well, that was different. I'm different.
I'm a different person than I was a few months ago.
Men only sing in falsetto.
Apparently.
That's what...
I thought I was more of a tenor myself, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah. So this first news story, this is big news story for us anyways, because we are the Sony ponies, obviously.
We don't hide it.
No shame here. But so this comes from Bloomberg by Takashi Mochizuki. The headline reads, Sony is struggling with PlayStation 5 price due to costly parts. Obviously, that headline kind of sucks. JJ earlier today was like, that story sounds dumb. And as you all know, he doesn't actually read the articles before he comes and does the show. So I was like, did you read the article? He's like, well, no, you know the answer to that. Okay.
That is exactly how I answered it, too.
So here's the deal. I'm going to read some of this. Scarce components have pushed the manufacturing cost for Sony Corp's next PlayStation to around $450 per unit, forcing a difficult price-setting decision in its battle with Microsoft Corporation. According to people with knowledge of the matter, the Japanese conglomerate is preparing to gradually replace the 6-year-old PS4 console, releasing its PlayStation 5 the same holiday season its arch-rival debuts the upcoming Xbox Series X. Sony typically finalizes a console's price in February of the release year, followed by mass production in the spring. With the PS5, the company is taking a wait-and-see approach, said the people. I love how they keep referring to the people, asking not to be named because the details are private. So there's insiders at Sony who are leaking information to Bloomberg, apparently. So the PS4 released in 2013 at a retail price of $399. It was estimated by IHS Markit to cost $381 to manufacture. With the $450 unit cost and a similar gross margin, the PlayStation 5's retail price would have to be at least $470, to kind of like make, basically they're making $20 a console, essentially. That would be a hard sell to consumers, considering Sony's most expensive machine now is $400 for the PS4 Pro and is often discounted, according to Marcari Capital analyst Damien Thong. Consumers will benchmark their expectations based on PS4 Pro and PS4. If Sony prices soar above that, it would likely be to balance a need to offset higher materials cost against risk to demand. Sony declined to comment, obviously. So here's the deal. This is kind of going to be broken up in parts a little bit. Sony right now is looking at all the pieces and parts it takes to build their PS5. It's going to cost them at least $450 to build this thing based off of these insider people. They're waiting for Microsoft to come out and give their price. That's actually something that's mentioned later on, or I guess I did mention it earlier, but How long do you think Sony can wait before they announce their price, though? Because, I mean, Xbox hasn't announced their price, but it's getting pretty late in the year, and they need to start, manufacturing these consoles and getting, stores on board like Walmart, Target, and Amazon, all these places.
And to start getting pre-sales.
Yeah, like I don't know, it just seems
Right.
kind of crazy to be waiting this long. Like, okay, we still don't know the price, but they're not going to give a price till Xbox does. Like,
Right.
I guess my question is, who's going to win this game of chicken? Like, who's going to give up first? Who's going to lose? Because someone's got to give. Like, I almost feel like Xbox is caught on to the fact, so they're just waiting. And then Sony's just like, it's a little bit longer, just a little bit longer.
I think that it's unusual that both of them have the systems that are coming out this year around the exact same time. I don't think that's ever happened before, where they've come out in the same year. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know last gen that definitely didn't happen.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I know for PS3 and 360 they came out at different times, but last gen actually I think they did come out pretty close.
Were they fairly close?
But continue.
Yeah.
You can continue
So
on.
my point being that it's a hard thing to guess, because I would think that Xbox does kind of see what's on the horizon, that PlayStation is holding off. Leaking out something like this, of course, the people who leaked this want to be kept quiet because they don't want to lose their jobs. But it's good to know. I think that if they end up retailing it around $500, and even though they're not going to make a whole lot of money on the console, they're taking a loss on it. Where they're going to make their money is on everything else, the games. They're gonna all of the upsales, the microtransactions, and all that kind of that kind of stuff. But
No, 100%. And that's the thing. Like with like consoles usually don't make much money. Like it's pretty normal to only make like $20-$30 off each console. But what I'm wondering though is, like, say Xbox is able to come out at $450. Yeah, is PlayStation willing to take even bigger loss, like to make negative dollars? Because they don't make negative. Usually, like I said, like they make only like $15-$20 on a console. But is PlayStation willing to take, like, so say Xbox comes out at $450 and PlayStation's like, fine, we're $399.
Right. And I actually thought of that. I thought, what happens if Xbox comes in at $400? And there's a very real possibility that they do, trying to hobble PlayStation. I would suggest that PlayStation doesn't play that game. My feeling, my thought on the subject is Xbox is going to do what Xbox is going to do. They're trying to get Xboxes in every home right now. What PlayStation should be worried about is staying in PlayStation's lane. Sony does what Sony does better than anybody else, including does it better than what Xbox does. So if they charge $500, the Sony ponies like you and me and some of our listeners, not all of them, because apparently most of them play Xbox.
They're weirdos.
It's kind of weird, I'm not going to lie. But they're aware that Sony, PlayStation, puts out incredible games that Xbox does not deliver. They just don't. It's simple fact. They don't deliver the type of amazing games like Last of Us 2 and all the exclusive Spider-Mans and stuff like that. Xbox just doesn't have that. So Sony fans are going to be looking to get that system. They're not going to jump over, well, it's $75 or $100 more, so I'm just going to go with an Xbox. It's not going to happen. They've already built in a love. And I'll tell you what, doing pest control, I go into so many houses, I know you do as well, I see far more PlayStations than I do Xboxes. And I know that, yeah, they sold a whole lot more consoles.
Yeah, like 3 times as many.
Right. And
potentially.
I'm just saying that I see it percentage-wise.
Yeah.
You know?
My only thought, and let's see if I can find it again, because I started to lose it there. Shoot, did I lose what I was going to say? Dang it. I hate it when that happens. With Sony. It's gone. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
And folks, that's why you should never do drugs.
Don't do drugs,
never do drugs. You know, he hasn't done meth in a very long time. It's been
what the heck was I
2 or 3 months.
This is the worst.
I'm not sure. I never did drugs before.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Well, except for the Adderall last week. But I mean, is that really an illegal drug? I think not.
That's for you to decide, listeners.
Well, I mean, it wasn't technically my prescription, but still.
Jeez, you can't say these things on a recording. Like this can be used in court as proof against you now.
Oh, okay.
It's the least of your worries.
We're already pretty adept at I'm good in court. You and I just had that issue, and
right. Yeah,
I won. You know, so I'll win again.
There's 2 sides to every story.
Right? Did it come back yet? Is it back? That thought that you lost?
No, totally gone.
Man.
I don't know where it went. It ran. I almost grabbed it, and then it hit the
And it was
nos,
just
baby. It hit the
gone.
nos. It
Yeah.
was out of here.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
So Sony is kind of sitting on their hands at this point. Another interesting thing though they say during this article, which got me kind of excited. It does say the ongoing coronavirus outbreak has had no impact so far on preparations for PlayStation 5 production. They said the company is yet to decide how many PS5 units it will make in the first year. And the reason it's kind of interesting to hear that is because we've actually already heard that Switch has been affected, like Switch consoles are being affected by the coronavirus. And then also, was it Animal Crossing? No. Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds that already came out on PC, Xbox, and PS4. The port is supposed to come to Switch, I believe, in March or something like that. And the development studio that's working on that is in China, and they're dealing with the coronavirus outbreak. So that actually got delayed a few months. So it's kind of crazy, like that this disease is. I mean, obviously it's sad, like what it's doing over in China, just ravishing the population. But it's crazy for it to like affect something like video games. Like it's just that you just never think of that connection. Like you're like, oh, they're completely separate. Like the real world and video games. It's like, oh no, they're very, very connected.
Yeah.
Kind of bizarre. And then the next thing, this is what has me hyped. The coronavirus outbreak does not have me hyped.
Ah, wow, because that's where I went with it. I was like, why are you so hyped about the coronavirus?
Separately, Sony plans to release a new version of the PlayStation VR virtual reality headset, tentatively scheduled after the PlayStation 5 goes on sale, the people said. So this has me thinking, okay, so PS5 comes out in November, let's say. And okay, it says tentatively scheduled after the PlayStation 5 goes on sale. Just the way it's worded almost makes it seem like it's going to be pretty quick after. Are we looking at like a spring 2021 PSVR launch? Because if we are, I need to save more money.
Get ready for Easter, kids.
Because I need to get one of those, especially after making the dumb decision to get rid of my other PSVR. If I can replace it next year with a full-on, like brand new, like top-of-the-line PSVR, oh, baby, I'm in. I'm in 100%. Get hyped.
Tell me, because I'm not sure if I've heard one way or the other, is the PSVR that's currently for the PlayStation 4, is it going to be compatible with the PS5? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is just going to be an updated version of that.
Well, we don't know. It could just be an updated version, or it could be quote unquote PSVR 2, and maybe it will have like better screens in there, better lenses, it might be wireless. Like that's the things that people want. People keep asking Sony like, please, like, make it wireless. That'd be awesome. Have better sensors. That's the other thing is like right now PSVR uses the PlayStation camera, and then your headset has lights on it, and your wands have these big lights on it. And if you turn around, there's lights all the way around your headband, so it can detect your headband out just fine. But if you turn around and I'm doing something in front of me like this, and the camera's behind me, I'm reaching out in front of me, then the camera can't see that, and it doesn't detect, like all of a sudden your hand just disappears. Where like some of the other systems like Oculus or Vive or some of these other things are either they use multiple sensors around the room, and it's infrared. So even if it's daytime, that's the other one, PSVR. If it's like super bright in the room, you can't play VR. It doesn't work. So with some of the other ones, it uses infrared.
Yeah.
Or even like the Oculus Quest now, all the sensors are built into the the helmet. So no matter where you're looking and what you're doing, those cameras always detect where your hands are, because there's sensors all the way around your head, like pointing out instead of the sensors pointing back at you. So those are some of the things that people speculate PSVR might start bringing in. Is there going to be, better sensors for the, remotes and the headset? Is there going to be wireless capabilities like the Quest? Because the Quest, that's revolutionary. For like $300 or $400, you can have the Quest, and you don't even have to have a computer. Like everything works inside the headset. It's crazy.
See, I've heard a lot of people swear by the Oculus, and I think you actually played that. Didn't you play that?
Yeah. I played the Oculus Rift. That's the one. So they have the Oculus Rift and the Oculus Quest. The Oculus Rift is like the heavy-duty, super powerful one, but you need a powerful computer to run it. So like even my computer is pretty powerful, but like some of the higher-end graphical games would probably struggle with.
How about Fortnite? Can you do that?
No, there's no VR for Fortnite.
What's the point?
No, there's lots more points than garbage Fortnite. Get out of here. You've been talking with your son too much. You've been hanging out with your son too much.
No, he's still on the Fortnite bandwagon, but he just told me today, and I think you heard a little bit of it. He said that Luigi's Mansion 3 is his favorite game now. And I thought, something has knocked Fortnite off the top of the mountain. Oh my gosh.
Anyways, and then the Vive is the Rift is the one that needs to be plugged in, and the Quest is completely wireless. Like, has a hard drive built in. You can get a 64 gig one or a 128 gig one, and you just use your phone and say, I want to play this game, and then it downloads to your Quest. All you need to do is make sure you have Wi-Fi or whatever, and yeah, it's awesome. And it's like $400. I want to get one, but I also would really want a PSVR as well. So It's like, do I just wait for the PSVR? Because you don't need two VR headsets. It gets to a point where it's it gets a lot.
You can technically
a lot of control. But yeah, so that's it for that article. I thought that was, it's interesting with the pricing thing. They're kind of waiting on Microsoft. I guess we'll just have to wait and see who wins that game of chicken, huh? The next one, NVIDIA GeForce Now lost Activision games. NVIDIA GeForce Now lost Activision games over misunderstanding. This comes from Polygon. Owen S. Good over there wrote this. NVIDIA says its GeForce Now service lost its library of 20 Activision and Blizzard games because of misunderstanding over permission to continue offering them once the cloud gaming service left its beta period. NVIDIA didn't describe exactly what the misunderstanding was in a statement yesterday, but did say it hoped to bring back Activision Blizzard games in the future. I'm not going to get into the whole statement stuff, but I just thought this was more just kind of crazy because was it last week or a week and a half ago? Not a week, because we don't do an episode in a half week. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, NVIDIA came out. This is crazy. I don't know if it was on air, maybe off air. I think we mentioned it on air, but before the episode we were talking about it. This might be a Stadia killer. This thing is amazing. I've actually tried it back in the day when it was on beta, before it came to, now it's a full release. But basically what NVIDIA GeForce Now does is you're essentially for $5 a month renting a supercomputer in the cloud. Where Stadia, you have to buy the game and then you're using one of their processing units or whatever through the cloud. GeForce, what it does is you literally fire it up on your computer, and it looks like a computer desktop, but it's not your computer desktop. It's the computer desktop somewhere else in a server farm. But all you do is log into your Steam account on this remote desktop, and you can play all the games you already own. You don't have to pay for the games again. So if you buy a game for sale on Steam for $4 or whatever, hey, you got it. You can play it through NVIDIA GeForce Now.
That's actually incredible.
And you only have to pay there's a free version, which you can only play for up to an hour a day, an hour per session, it says, which I think that means an hour a day. Maybe it just means an hour.
Who can play a full hour a day?
Yeah, right. Not me. Or you pay $5 a month and it's unlimited, and it gives you a bunch of other options like higher resolutions and stuff like that.
So you said you tried the
way
beta?
Back in the day,
okay.
A year or so ago. I think it was when I first got this computer, which would have been 2 years ago now. 2 years ago, when I got this computer, it came with because I have a NVIDIA graphics card in here. They're like, hey, you get a free access to our beta, which is normally a private beta or whatever. And I tried it back then, and it was pretty cool. And from what I've heard, it's a lot better now.
NVIDIA Shield has games, part of it's like a streaming library of games.
It pulls from your Steam account, same way that this does.
And there's a handful of free games on there. I mean, there was a Batman game that was on there not that long ago. I checked it out at a friend's house, and it actually was pretty cool. I really thought that it was a lot better than I had heard. I hadn't heard good things about NVIDIA, but...
So anyways, but with that to say, it's an amazing service. We're talking all how amazing it is. And then for them to come out and say, well, you can play every game except for Activision and Blizzard games now. So no more Call of Duty Modern Warfare, no more Warcraft 3 Reforged, whatever that just came out a couple weeks ago. All these games are gone now. And then I also was reading here, GeForce Now has also removed publishers such as Rockstar, Square Enix, Capcom. So you can't play your Red Deads, you can't play your Grand Theft Autos, you can't play your Final Fantasy. And what happened was, so here's the deal. I guess I could read this part in the article, but I'll just break it down for you. During the beta period, they had permission from all these developers to stream their games.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently it wasn't clear in the contract that they would continue to stream those games after it came out of beta. So what happened is when they switched over, Rockstar reached out and was like, hey, stop streaming our games. Like, it's not the beta anymore. It's full. Like, take us away. Same thing with Square Enix. Same thing with Capcom. And then the newest one is Activision Blizzard. Like, hey, like, take us off of there, which is a bummer because we were so hyped about this. And I don't know. I guess my question for you now and for us to kind of discuss is, do you think this is a done deal? Like, do you think they kind of pissed off Activision, or do you think there's a chance for them to come back to Activision and Rockstar and all these people and be like, hey, sorry about the misunderstanding. Do you think we can work something out to bring them back?
Absolutely.
Or do you think these people are looking to go to Google Stadia or maybe start their own streaming service? Like, do you think those are possibilities?
I don't think starting their own service. I know everybody does that right now. Everybody is starting their own streaming service, but I don't think that that's the point here. They could be in bed with Google Stadia or have some type of an agreement with Google Stadia, but of the names that you mentioned, I haven't heard any of those actively.
If they do, Google's not talking about it. No. Google's not talking about anything.
None at all. And what I think that you can never say never in any business, but especially in this business, because we saw not that long ago when Xbox and PlayStation worked together to be able to use Azure. So you can never say never.
Say that word again. I like the way you say it.
Azure. Am I saying it incorrectly?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's Azure.
Well, that too. I think it's blue. Azul, right?
Pretty close.
Espanol. Okay, so no, I just think that. See, now I forgot what I was going to say.
No, you were just saying PlayStation and Xbox come together to use Azure server, basically, with their streaming service. Yeah,
so I think that there's a good possibility that they can be able to say, hey, look, we made a mistake. Let's try to work together. And I think that all of those companies, if the money's there, they'll work with them again.
Yeah. I hope so, because honestly,
I don't think this is a deal killer is what my point was.
Yeah, because honestly, so that $5 a month too is, I think that deal is only available for the next couple months, and then no one knows what it'll go up to. It could be like up to $10 or $15 a month, but if you lock it in now, you get that price indefinitely for the next year. So like if I sign up right now for that $5 a month deal until next year in February, I'll be locked into that $5 price, even if the price goes up on it. So I'm almost tempted to like subscribe to it just to like lock in my price, for when some of those things do come back. And like I have a lot of awesome games on my computer Borderlands 3. So I have a pretty sweet computer. Like my gaming laptop, it can run a lot. But Borderlands 3 came out this like end of last year, and I don't know what it is. If it's like, I think it's an issue on their end with the way they made it. Like it's just not optimized, but it runs like garbage on my computer. I literally ran Gears of War 5 on ultra settings, running at 4K. It looked beautiful, no problems at all, like 60 frames a second, like just running smooth as butter. I turn on Borderlands and try to run it like 30 frames a second and like on like medium graphic quality. Like I drop the graphics so everything's like, not as many textures and not as good looking. And it's still just like like juddery and like stutters and stuff. I'm like, what is wrong with this? So like to be able to play Borderlands 3 through GeForce Now would be awesome. I could play it at the highest graphic quality, and it's just using internet, just streaming over the internet. Like, I don't know, that sounds awesome to me. So I don't know.
Well, I think they're still a step away from being able to be the Google Stadia killer, but let's hope that they rebound because
already they have a bigger library than Stadia, because technically you can play anything in your Steam account other than Activision, Rockstar, and Square Enix games. But other than those,
other than like every publisher, other than that.
Well, no, like everything else. Like okay, like yeah, you could play your Fortnite through there. You could play your.
I don't play Fortnite.
You could play all your EA games through there, like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which had a lot of performance issues. You get to play it on a supercomputer now.
Now, you actually spoke with me about when you were playing it, you had some issues where it was really janky.
Well, that was on my PlayStation, but yeah.
And I did as well. And one thing that you did was you went in and changed some settings.
Yeah.
And you made it to where all of a sudden it was running like butter.
It's running better, not like butter.
Okay.
It's running better. Yeah, there's like there's a setting in there which basically it's automatically on, and it's set up to like whenever you come across a bug or there's some issue or something, it'll report it to EA automatically for you. Like it's just always like pumping data back and forth, like, you know, keeping up with basically tracking everything you're doing to help them make the game better. But
wait, like everything you're doing?
Everything. But what happened is it was running so much in the background, it was slowing down the rest of the game. So I had to turn it off, and now it runs a lot better. It's still not perfect, but better than it was. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still interested in this, the GeForce Now. It is just a bummer that just over some like someone misspoke in a conference meeting, and all of a sudden they're like, oh shoot, sorry, misunderstanding. Like now they've lost like some pretty major games, like Call of Duty and the Warcraft games and stuff like that. Like or what else does Blizzard make? What's that big one? Overwatch. Wow, I almost forgot Overwatch. But hopefully soon enough they'll work something out. That'll be cool. Let's see. Next one real quick here. Disney wants developers to reimagine its IP for video games. This comes from James Batchelor over at gamesindustry.biz. Disney is seeking more partnerships with games developers and publishers following the success of Marvel's Spider-Man and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Speaking at the 2020 DICE Summit, the company's senior VP for games and interactive experiences, Sean Shoptaw, reiterated that Disney's focus when it comes to the games industry is in licensing out its IP. So the headline kind of says it all. There's a lot of back and forth and quotes and stuff, but that's the gist of it. Is like previously Disney made all of their own games in-house. They spent a crap ton of money renting an office building, hiring a team, getting them together, having to buy literally they would from scratch build, have to buy all the equipment for an office building, and then finally they'd get down to designing this thing, and they'd all start from scratch, no one really knowing each other, no chemistry with the team, none of this stuff. And it was always a pain for them to make games, and they were horrible. What about
Lion King? What about Aladdin?
I mean, they're all right.
Those are pretty good games for the time, my friend.
They're all right. But I mean, I'm even talking about the PS1, PS2 era, where
there was a lot of trash.
You get the movie tie-in, so A Bug's Life on PS1 or Tarzan on PS1 or stuff like that, or Cars on PS2, all these just stupid games. Anyways, that's what they used to do, but now right here it says Marvel Spider-Man by Insomniac Games sold over 13 million copies. And that's a PlayStation exclusive. You can only play that on PlayStation. It sold 13 million copies. That's so many copies. It's the fastest selling first-party title in PlayStation history. And then also the more recent Jedi Fallen Order was one of the biggest selling games of last year and is expected to soon reach 10 million copies sold. And that's only in just a couple months. That came out in November. So it's almost, granted, that's on every console. It's on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. But that's crazy. In 3 months, it's almost, it's already hit 10, it's coming up on 10 million copies. That's pretty good. Because, Spider-Man came out, 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
So,
and that game is still amazing.
So, I don't know. Again, there's not much more of this article other than Disney's looking for more publishers to do work for them. But
it's not going to be Insomnia. Now that PlayStation owns Insomnia, but there's
Insomniac.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I'm tired. That's the whole. Yeah, that's what it was. Not because I'm stupid. It's because I'm tired.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. PlayStation just bought Insomniac, so most likely. Although, even before Insomniac was owned by Sony, 99% of the games that Insomniac made were PlayStation exclusives. I think they only made one that was on Xbox, and it's an Xbox exclusive called. I don't know what it's called. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Xbox sucks.
We're gonna get hate.
That's fine.
You get blocked on Twitter, Garrett.
That's fine. Block me. But yeah, what I was gonna ask though is, okay, spinning off from this headline, I just want to hear what's one IP you would love to see reimagined as a game, and what developer would you like to see make it? And it doesn't matter if it's a PlayStation owned or not, whatever. If you want to say Naughty Dog makes something, or Insomniac or whoever, what's another game or IP you'd like to see that's Disney property, that maybe hasn't been done yet. So maybe not Star Wars or Marvel, but
gosh, Disney owns everything.
Right?
That's pretty great. You know what? I am the biggest fan of the Disney originals, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Goofy and stuff like that. And I know you're probably going to say, well, what about the, I've never played any of those games. The
Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, I never played any of that stuff.
No.
But I
Don't do it.
I loved DuckTales when I was a kid.
There is a DuckTales game.
I remember the old platformer.
It's on PlayStation. They remastered it for PS4.
Did they?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's the Saturday Afternoon Collection or something it's called.
Oh, wow. So it's essentially the same game. It's just remastered.
I think so,
the old platformer.
Right.
Wow. Well, I loved that game when I was a kid, and I loved the show. I'd like to see something kind of updated like that now.
Right, like a more modern,
more modern version of it.
Remaster,
I like characters like that. The old Goofy stuff is just fantastic. Donald Duck, it still holds up. It's still hilarious. It's still good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why I call it the Saturday Afternoon. It's just called the Disney Afternoon Collection. There's no Saturdays involved.
Also, you know what? Another IP that they own that would be, I think, a fun game, and I don't know if it's ever been done before, but they own the Muppets. And I would love to see a Muppet game.
Yeah. So the first thing, I had a different idea before, but after you brought up the whole original Disney, Mickey Mouse, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What just popped in my head is if they had Studio MDHR, which is the studio that made Cuphead, make a Disney
like Steamboat Willie kind of style.
Exactly.
That would be pretty amazing.
In that art style,
that would be amazing.
Make Steamboat Willie or some of the other classic Disney cartoons, but into a game, and have Studio MDHR do it. They've already done the art style with Cuphead.
Here you go. The Super Gamer Boys just came up with that stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, for $5 you can get the Disney Afternoon Collection. It comes with
Tailspin or
it comes with a couple games. I don't know why it's not telling me.
Rescue Rangers, Chippendales Rescue Rangers was the afternoon cartoons when I was
Hunt for treasure around the globe as Scrooge McDuck, fight crime as a hero, Darkwing Duck, take to the skies as Ace Pilot, Baloo the Bear, and enjoy co-op as Chippendale to take down Fat Cat. All 6 classic games feature new and improved visuals and include filtering options that replicate a retro look. Yeah, there you go.
Pretty awesome.
$5. It's on sale. It's only $20. So if you want it, get it now.
Oh, I can just get it from the store, huh?
Yeah, right, digitally.
Wow.
It's like I said, it's on sale right now, $5.
Okay.
So that's your deal of the day. Get the Disney Afternoon Collection. Normally $20, 75% off right now on the PSN store.
Very cool.
But man, yeah. No, I'm hyped. I want Steamboat Willie, but made by the Cuphead guys. That'd be so cool.
Well, I know what I'm doing tonight when I go home. I'm actually going to go ahead and grab that game.
Do it, man.
That's pretty awesome.
This last news story isn't much of a news story. Last Thursday were the DICE Awards, the 2019 or the 2020 DICE Awards, but it's all the games for 2019.
It's not a gambling award, so you know.
It stands for Design, Innovate, Communicate, Entertain. It's put on by the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. So it's actually really like hoity-toity. Where like the Game Awards by Jeff Keighley are like, think of like the Game Awards. Game Awards by Jeff Keighley is like, this is like peak gamer kind of like, we're awesome. Like they had Green Day perform.
Nerd
like
culture,
it was just like, we're so cool. Like
right.
Not even that, but even this like, we're bros. This is like, all the fancy pantsy, like everyone's decked out in like tuxes and fancy dresses, and they all go to Vegas and there's a red carpet and they all, very, very fancy.
When are we going to get all fancy dressed up and go to like a red carpet event?
I don't know. One day. That'd be cool.
We can get all fancy dressed up with Super Gamer Boy shirts you can always find on supergamerboys.com/store.
We should make a t-shirt that looks like a tux, but underneath you just see like the E and the R and the B.
Right.
To make it look like you're wearing your Super Gamer Boy shirt underneath a tux.
Underneath the tux.
All in a t-shirt
Yep. It kind of says like we like to party, but like we're serious.
But we're also extremely redneck.
Yeah.
So here's some of the winners from that award show. I usually like to stream the award shows. I did the Game Awards. I did some other stuff previously, but I did something else, previous engagements on a Thursday night. But Game of the Year went to Untitled Goose Game, which I'm actually really kind of upset about a little bit. I talked to you a little earlier, but I was like, everyone talked about that game and was like, everyone admitted, everyone I talked to anyways, and all the podcasts I listen to, all the news articles I read, everyone's like, it's not a great game. It's a fun game. And it's funny, like it's easy to like meme. That's what everyone says. It's very memeable. Like it's a good joke. Like it made the internet fun for a couple weeks because everyone's posting like funny jokes and memes on Twitter and stuff about it. But,
is that where we're at now?
But after like a couple weeks, like it just kind of disappeared. Like no one really cares about it now. But apparently it won Game of the Year, which over Death Stranding and Control and Disco Elysium and Outer Wilds, like 4 other amazing games. So that. I'm kind of upset. So the way the Dice Awards works, it's all voted on by a ballot system by industry experts and Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences members. So a bunch of hoity-toity
ones,
fancy people who like geese, apparently, who like stupid little geese that steal things from people.
Yeah, it's a weird game to win Game of the Year.
Yeah. Outstanding achievement for independent game, Untitled Goose Game. Outstanding achievement in animation, Luigi's Mansion 3.
There you go.
Outstanding achievement in art direction, Control. Outstanding achievement in character, The Goose from Untitled Goose Game. That's so stupid. Over like Cliff Unger in Death Stranding. Man. Outstanding achievement in game design, Baba Is You. Outstanding achievement in game direction, Control. I'm just going to say what it's for. I'm not going to keep saying outstanding achievement. Original music composition, Control. Sound design, Death Stranding. Story, Disco Elysium. Technical achievement, Death Stranding. Action Game of the Year, Control. Adventure Game of the Year, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Family Game of the Year, Super Mario Maker 2. Racing Game of the Year, Mario Kart Tour, which was a mobile game. That was a phone game. Fighting Game of the Year, Mortal Kombat 11. Role-playing Game of the Year, Outer Worlds. Sports Game, FIFA 20. Strategy Simulation Game, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Portable Game of the Year, Sayonara Wild Hearts. Immersive Reality Game of the Year, Pistol Whip. Immersive Reality Technical Achievement, Blood and Truth. And Online Game of the Year was Apex Legends. That was well-deserved. Apex Legends was a good one. So there's just your quick rundown of the awards.
Death Stranding picked up a few.
It got 2. Yeah, it got Best Sound Design and Technical Achievement, which is pretty cool. Well-deserved.
Garrett would have rather seen a complete sweep of all the field.
Well, of course, yeah. But that is your rundown of the 23rd Annual DICE Awards. Now, it is time for the new releases.
There's releases this week?
Yeah.
Okay. I hadn't even heard.
Darksiders Genesis on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch came out February 14th. It actually looks really cool. It looks like it's like a top-down, looks very similar to Diablo. Did you ever play the Diablo games at all?
No.
Okay. Well, it looks just like that, except it's Darksiders instead of, it's made by a different company and different like a set storyline, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I've played Darksiders. I played a couple of different Darksiders.
So you understand the aesthetic and like the theme. So imagine that, but it's like top down, like dungeon. Basically, Diablo is like D&D light. Like without, like you're not role playing obviously, but it's you going through dungeons and killing monsters and stuff like that. Tony Stewart Sprint Car Racing came out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on February 14th.
Guarantee that one's going to sell some.
So here's the deal. I only put on my list because my dad's a huge NASCAR fan, and I know he's going to want to get his little hands on Tony Stewart's Sprint Car Racing.
It makes so much sense now. Okay, so his dad, Bill Moreland, listener to the show, how we doing, Bill? Also loves me and loves the long, uncomfortable hugs. I get it now, Garrett. You really are a redneck. I've been pretending like you're some kind of a upper crust New York socialite, but in reality, dude, when you grow a beard, it's mostly neck beard. It's mostly neck beard, and then you're into the whole NASCAR thing. It makes sense now. I thought I was the redneck.
No.
Wow.
I'm 100% redneck.
Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense now. That's why I didn't know what was going on with the neck beard. It's like if he shaves everything off, there's nothing but hair all up on his throat area.
How do I?
So,
There,
there you go.
Gotta do it real right.
Living
Get my
in
hair
it.
coming through here.
There you go.
Call me
You
Cougar.
look too natural like that. I don't know why that worked.
Yes, I love the NASCAR too.
You love the NASCAR.
I love the NASCAR.
Okay, all right.
Okay, this last game. Something else I was going to say about that Tony Stewart game. I actually contacted the developers to see if I can get a code for the game. No response as of yet. That was about a week ago, so maybe they're not interested.
They were probably so shocked. They're like,
no one
wait
else
a second.
wants.
Guys, an email just came through. G. Morlang, he's got a podcast at Super Gamer. Oh my gosh, he wants to have it. What are we supposed to do? What do we normally do in this situation? They're probably just sitting there freaking out right now, man.
Probably. Yeah. No response yet. Maybe I'll get something soon. That would be cool. I'll even do a YouTube video of me playing through. Maybe I'll stream it live on Twitch. Oh man, me playing Tony Stewart's sprint car racing. But this one, another game came out on Valentine's Day, February 14th. This is a game I wasn't really necessarily interested in before because I just didn't understand it. I didn't really care about it. I wasn't going to get it. And then it was literally like December 14th. It was that day I was listening to a podcast and they kind of like talked about it and really just explained it in a way I'm like, oh, okay, I need to get in on this. So Dreams, a PlayStation 4 exclusive, been in the works since probably the last 7 years. It was actually when they first announced the PS4, not when it launched, when they just announced it. It was in the announcement trailer for PS4. It took them 7 years to come out with this game. Like the entire generation, basically. Like it was there at the beginning, and here it is, sending the PlayStation 4 out. And it's made by the same developers, Media Molecule, who made Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3, which are classics, super great games, like super fun, cute little, extremely creative games. Like it's all about making things and being creative and using your own imagination. So this game really blew my mind. So it's really two games in one. That's the only way I can explain it. It's not even two games. It's two parts in one thing that you purchase. Half of the software, I won't even call it a game anymore. Half of the software is you can play things or experience things. You click the button and it just starts showing you things that people have made in Dreams. People are making movies. Like I watched like a 30 or 40 minute movie the other day. Like someone recreated a scene from like Dragon Ball Z or like Pokemon or something like that. Like, you know, the other people are like animes or their own original stuff. Like someone made some movie about this guy who, you know, had his, you know, it was really weird. It was a little weird. There's a lot of weird stuff in there, but basically there's this artist, museum turned down his offer to come and, you know, to let his art be in the museum. So then he gets ticked off and goes to the museum and starts destroying everything with a baseball bat and stuff like that's the kind of weird stuff. But you can watch movies. That's what I was getting at though. Like you can watch movies, you can play games. Like I was playing a puzzle game the other day where you play as like a little sloth and run around this world and like trying to find like little stuff hidden around the world. Or someone totally recreated Fallout 4 in Dreams. Like I was playing Fallout 4, but someone created it from the ground up, literally, like every blade of grass, every gun, every sound effect, everything, all the quest lines. You can also, so there's games, there's movies. Some people just do music. You can make music in there and just upload a song that you made in Dreams. You can also upload just art, like still art. So maybe you sculpt something, or someone did a painting or a drawing, or they molded a character. So there's the aspect to it where you can just look and experience and play. The other half of it is that creation tool that people are using. And it is so stinking in depth. Like I'm kind of getting into my what you playing here. So what you been playing? I've been playing Dreams. Basically, the creation tools are so in depth. It's insane to me because I've used Unity a little bit. I've used Unreal Engine, which those are programs that like big name game developers use, like on the PC. Like Fortnite's made an Unreal Engine 4. I've used that engine. You can get it for free. Go to unrealengine.com, download it, and you can make your own game for free on any computer. Well, not any computer. Your computer needs to be powerful enough to run it. That's the engine. But basically, though, Dreams is like a game engine, but on PlayStation. Like an extremely powerful game engine. So you can make your own stuff literally from nothing. You can start with zero, zilch, nothing. And by the end, maybe you want to sculpt a tree. Maybe you want to make a song. Maybe you want to make a rock. Maybe you want to sculpt your little character. Okay. Maybe you're not very good at art, but you are good at the mechanics and animating and stuff like that. So say you made a little character that looks like you, little super gamer man. And I was like, you know what? I'm not really good at sculpting things and creating things, but I want to make a game about us. So I'm going to take your little guy that you made of you, but I'm really good at animating. So I'm going to use your character and animate. I'm also not good at making music. So I don't know, maybe one of our best friends out there is really good at making music. I'm going to take his song. That's going to be the background music in our game. And then this person over here is really good at, I don't know, I'm trying to think of one other thing. Like, maybe making environments. Like, oh, yeah, they can make really good trees and rocks or bricks or houses or whatever it is. Like, so not only can you make everything yourself, but it gives you the ability to use things that other people have made to put into your game.
That's amazing.
So even if you completely suck at making things, even if you're just if you have a big imagination and you're a good like designer, quote unquote, you don't have to make a single thing. You can take other people's things and just, I want this and this and that and that and that.
So it's like a larger scale Super Mario Maker.
Yeah, I guess so. Exactly. It's like Mario Maker on some
steroids.
Some serious steroids. Yeah.
Wow.
Like to the point where, because you can make anything. That's the thing. Like I was playing one game that was like a 3D or a 2D platformer side scroller. The next game was a 3D open world. I mean, I played Fallout. Like you can make anything you want. Anything you can imagine, you can make.
Have you utilized the creating aspect of it so far, or are you just playing other people's creations?
I spent a lot of time playing other people's creations. I actually streamed for like 3 or 4 hours Saturday night Dreams. I just played through a bunch of like people's streams and stuff. I started to do some of the creation stuff, but there's a lot of tutorials and it's like, I need to learn this stuff before I start streaming me doing it. But I've mainly been playing people's streams. I have dabbled in the creation mode though, and I'm not good at it, but that's because like I just don't understand the tools. There's so many tools. Like it's really complicated, but it's so stinking cool. So I don't know. I've been praising this to all my friends who have a PlayStation because I know it sounds crazy and it sounds maybe like that sounds kind of lame or boring. But first of all, the things people are making are incredible. Like I've watched some really cool short movies. I've played some really cool games that you would never get to play anywhere else. Like these are games that are obviously never going to come to your Switch eShop or your PlayStation Store, but they're here on Dreams and they're amazing.
When you say that they've created movies on there, are they adding dialogue to the characters?
Yeah, you can put voiceover in. You can make a full on animated movie in there. Like no problem at all.
All right, so that's it. Challenge is thrown out. You need to create a Super Gamer Boys game.
So that's my goal now. We talked about that the other day. I want to make a Super Gamer Boys side scroller, like 2D kind of Mario style platformer. Yeah. So if any of you guys out there have dreams, let me know. Like seriously, get in the Discord and talk with me. Find me on social media if you want to help make assets for it. If you don't have it yet, it's only $40. So it's not a full $60 game. It's only $40 for Dreams. So it's a cheaper game, and you get so much stinking stuff. So if you're even interested in it, go check it out. Because like I said, like even if you don't create anything, there are so many fun creations that you can experience, whether you're playing it, watching it, listening to it. And even if you just dabble in the creation tools a little bit, like even that's been fun. Like even though I don't know how to use them really, I'm like, this is still a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm having a blast with it. And it's getting great reviews. Like I saw Game Informer gave it like a 9.5. Someone else is giving it like a 10. It's getting like 9s and 10s.
Wow.
So it's reviewing super well. So go check it out. $40, PlayStation 4 exclusive. And if you're interested in helping me make my Super Gamer Boys game, let me know. Because I seriously want to make that. I think it'd be so cool.
Ooh, so if we were like the two heroes running through, like who's going to be the big bad guy Is Zetch going to be like the little evil man at the end of the game that we got to like fight? What? I'm saying like Zetch has got to be like the super villain, right?
I mean, he doesn't have to be.
No, I think he has to be.
Okay. Just because he almost took your position, like he's like your arch nemesis now, right? Like, is that what's going on here?
No.
That's what it feels like.
No, Zetch, I love you to death. Actually, you did a great job. But yeah.
Okay.
So,
So Dreams is what I've been playing. Killer game. Go check it out. The other game I've been playing is more than just a game. It is a lifestyle.
okay. All right.
No, I don't know. I was just trying to think of some cool marketing term. Last week, Microsoft finally started the iOS closed beta for xCloud. Up till now, it's only been available on Android devices. And it was last, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday or something. They put out a tweet saying, hey, anyone interested in testing out on iOS, let us know. I applied immediately, and I immediately got an email back saying I was in. They only selected a few thousand people, so I was like, whew, got in there, slid in there real quick. So I've been playing, there's only one game available, but I've been playing the Halo Master Chief Collection on there. I was playing, Halo 3 and Halo 4 and stuff like that, just on my phone. Like the app is just on my iPhone. And I was able to link, I didn't even have to use an Xbox controller. I linked my PS4 controller to my phone. I was playing Xbox games with my PS4 controller.
Wow.
And to be honest, like I was using my Wi-Fi at home, which is fast. I have like 270, 280 megabits per second. I had no problems at all. No latency at all.
Wow.
Like it was almost spot on. Like it was like so stinking perfect. The graphics for as good as they can be on a little phone. The graphics were amazing, like quality-wise, like sharpness, colors, everything was there. My only issue is like because it was so small, trying to see like little enemies and stuff, I'm like, it's really hard to see. I want to get the app on my wife's iPad, Trudy's iPad, because like playing on like a bigger 10-inch screen would be a lot nicer than my little 5-inch screen. But dude, I was shocked. Like it worked so amazingly well in the fact that, it even worked with my PlayStation controller. Earlier in the day, I was scrambling. I'm like, I need to find an Xbox controller. Like I got accepted into this. I want to be able to play tonight. Like I don't want to have to wait till tomorrow. Like blah, blah, blah. And then I got home. I'm like, I'm just going to try it. And then it worked. I'm like, yes. Like I was so excited.
You just needed a Bluetooth controller.
Just any Bluetooth controller. Yeah. And it started working.
And you have to be hooked up to Wi-Fi?
You can use data. So when I first got accepted, I didn't have a controller, so I couldn't actually technically play. But I was like, okay, let's put this thing to the test. I was driving down the road in my work van, and I had my phone on the hands-free dashboard. It was not in my hand, but I was hitting some buttons, and I was like, okay, log in to Xbox, blah, 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 click, 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 click. Okay, launch Halo. And I was out in the country. I had like 1, maybe 2 bars of signal on, Verizon LTE 4G. And it fired up. No problem at all.
Wow.
It was running the game. I couldn't play it, obviously, because I was driving and I didn't have a controller with me.
Yeah, if he had a controller, he would have been trying to drive it. I'm just saying.
But I was shocked. I'm like, I'm out here in the country in the middle of nowhere where normally my service kind of starts dropping out. And
that's great news, actually.
Started out. It just went flawlessly. So I was super happy with it. I'm like, xCloud, you're winning in my book at this point. Like that was incredible. So yeah, if you guys can get into the beta, there might be spots still open. Go apply. Even if there's not now, if you apply now, later on when they open it up, you can get in. But I'm just hoping in the next couple months they just announce it like, hey, it's coming this day. Like I can't wait till that day comes.
Wow, that's
so
awesome.
We'll see. They haven't said anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if around E3 time we hear something.
That's good news, man. I'm glad to hear that because that's pretty darn exciting, especially if you can have it on your phone.
Oh, heck
I realize that it's smaller and it's hard and whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but man, like I said, even like an iPad, like if you got like an iPad or like even an iPad Mini, because like the iPad Minis are like 8 or 9 inches. Like it's like it's in between this and an iPad. So yeah, I don't know. It worked way better than I thought it ever would. I was so surprised.
I can only imagine if it was hooked up to Wi-Fi, how much data it would be sucking down.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no way to really track it, at least with my Wi-Fi setup. My Wi-Fi setup doesn't really detect like how much data each device uses. I know some routers will do that for you, but mine doesn't, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh, sweet. You have to give me that code so I can steal that from you.
The
You loan that to me
man.
like you do all the games and stuff.
No, I mean, the only way you can do it, it's locked to my phone, so you have to take
You
my
have to leave your
phone.
phone with me, buddy.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
get it back to you eventually. It might have some weird smudgy marks on it and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I bet. I
Like
bet.
peanut butter jelly looking, smudges and stuff. But
Gross.
I'm just saying. So I actually got a chance to play some good games this week, man. I got some really good game time, man.
Mm-hmm.
So the this month the PS Plus games were the BioShock games. So I ended up playing BioShock, and I know you told me that set of games, especially the first one, was probably the game of the decade before of that last generation. It's amazing. What an awesome game for a past generation game. I absolutely loved it.
So did you end up going to the original? Because I know
I went back to I started with Infinite, and I played maybe 15 to 20 minutes on Infinite, and then I told you that I was playing that, and you're like, oh man, you got to try the original. So I went back to the original, and the original is fantastic.
It's so good.
It holds up
That's
as
really
such a
good.
great game.
Like the controls are a little wonky, but
A little bit, yeah. It's a
But
little.
the story and the atmosphere and even the graphics, like it's just like
No,
I love
they're
I love the
amazing.
feel of the game. Like it's just you get in there, you're like you're just unsure. You just
a
don't know. You're
It's
just like,
very dark too.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and I was very surprised by that. I was very into the game when I'm playing it. That I was like, oh gosh, and I didn't expect that.
little jump scares and
I did
stuff,
not
yeah.
expect it to be something that was going to keep my attention. The other game that I got to play was based on us talking last week, and I ended up playing Far Cry 5. And whoa.
Isn't the intro of that game crazy?
It is absolutely
Like
insane.
with a helicopter crash and then like
It's
everything that happened, I was like, what?
So
in the world?
insane. Like it's just it's like watching a movie. It's just so incredible when you're engaged in this game. It's done so well, and very different from playing BioShock, where it was a previous generation. This game feels like it just came out, and I know it came out a couple of years ago. It's probably 3 or 4 years old now. Came out in
That
2018.
came out 2018, yeah.
Yeah, it
Because
feels
Far Cry New Dawn came out last year. Yeah.
It feels brand new. It doesn't feel like a game where I'm like, it's kind of aging. No, this game is amazing. It's gorgeous. And honestly, the story is absolutely riveting.
Yeah.
I'm not super far into it. I've probably played a little over an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
So you barely
into the game.
scratched the surface. And
Yes, but I'm telling you what, the story that I'm getting from it is tremendous. So if you guys haven't played Far Cry 5, give it a try. I've been very impressed.
you can get it super cheap too because like a lot of people didn't like it. I don't know. It didn't review very well, which is
That's
surprising.
unfortunate.
Because I enjoyed what I played too. The reason I backed off it is because other games just came out on the same time. And I just have a hard time with those big open world games anyways. Like I just don't have the time for that. Like as much as I love big open world games, I don't have time for it. So like any game I do play, like it has to be, if I'm going to beat it, it has to just be like a straight on, just narrative focus, just get me through the story kind of thing. 'Cause those open world games, Far Cry 5, it could easily take you like 100 hours to beat that game if you really took your time with it. And it's like, that time, like I don't want to spend even 30 hours. That's too long. I want to beat a game in like 10 hours or less kind of thing. But yeah, no, I enjoyed what I played of it too. It's crazy. I just remember the story being like insane.
It's
like,
absolutely
the
crazy.
whole cult and everything like that. And
Yeah, it's worth giving a peek at because it really is a tremendous game. Got a great story to it. The cult thing is just wild, man. It's wild.
Cool. Well, let's get into our topic of the show. So this comes to us sent in by Kajoma01 on our Discord, and we kind of we discussed it very briefly. We ended up kind of getting sidetracked and spinning off into another discussion that wasn't really based off of this. But the headline here for this article he sent me was, "There is no console war because Xbox moved on and left PlayStation behind." Obviously, this was sent to me to get a rile out of me because everyone knows I'm the Sony pony.
Yeah.
This is by Kevin Murnane over at Forbes. This article is. I'm looking here. It's gotten over 1 million views, so it's very popular. Very clickbaity title, obviously. But we both read this. I hope you read this.
I actually read it.
You actually read it this week.
I swear.
Okay.
I swear.
Because otherwise, I'm going to need to come up with a new topic on the fly here.
Nope. That's what we were planning on doing it last week. And he goes, "Hey, did you read the article right?"
What are we naming JJ's next kid?
Monster, Beelzebub, something. No, yeah, no. I actually read the article, and I'll tell you what. Absolutely, obviously written by somebody who is an Xbox fan. That's the impression I get, and I could be wrong. I get the impression that it's somebody who...
I had the same feeling. I read through this, and I was like... And I know...
Not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way, because I know all you Xboxers are like, oh, like rolling your eyes at us right now, like, okay, here we go. Here goes the Sony fans, like, whatever. Like, they can't just take a hint. Like, they can't accept defeat. And it's like, it's not that. It's just everyone has a bias.
Right.
And this article very heavily has a bias.
There are some extremely well-made points that are made 100%. for the article's title.
Yes.
They're well thought out, and they've got some weight and some merit to them. And I'll admit, there's part of me that's like, okay, I see where they were going with it. Mm-hmm. I see exactly what the author of the article was going with it. Xbox is focused on, along with Amazon and Google, they're focused on going into the cloud.
Yes.
That's their goal, whereas PlayStation is more, they don't have the infrastructure. And the article, you can get into it.
Yeah, so let me just give kind of like a rundown. So for people, if you haven't, go check it out. Just go Google, there is no console war because Xbox moved on and left PlayStation behind. You could probably just Google, there is no console war, and then Forbes, the word Forbes. It'll probably come up. I highly recommend you read it, check it out. Maybe I'll tweet it out after the show here, put it on our social media. But the gist of it is, according to this person, console wars, and this is their words, the console wars were never about how many consoles you sold. It was about how much money you made. And looking at kind of the last half of this generation and coming up in this new generation in the future, they claim that really Xbox is the winner. Even though they sold a third to half the amount of consoles that PlayStation did, they're the real winners because they're making more money because of their services like Game Pass and Xbox Live. And upcoming, they're obviously going to have their Stadia, xCloud, which we were just talking about, stuff like that. So their thought is, because gaming is now going into this cloud future, everything's going to be streaming. His thought is like, obviously, and a lot of people's thoughts and speculation is that in the next few years, consoles are going to disappear. I'm not going to have a box in my living room that plays video games. Everyone will just have an app. Like you'll just fire up your phone and play PlayStation, or your TV. Like all the TVs are smart TVs now. You have a PlayStation or Xbox app on your TV now. That's what a lot of people think gaming is going towards, and it's what this person is very heavily leaning towards as well. And with that, that's why his thought is like, Xbox is winning because they bring in the most money and they are moving the right direction. He feels like PlayStation is being left in the dust because they are not moving in any direction. They're moving in a direction of consoles still. And so that's another point that I wanted to bring up that I kind of disagreed with, because yes, at this point, PlayStation does very heavily rely on their consoles. And up until now, that's what's made them kind of the best seller every generation. Even in the PS3 360 era, they started out behind, but in the end, they ended up selling more consoles than Xbox as well. They are really good at selling consoles because their consoles are good, and that's because that's their focus. Where Xbox is not the focus. And so, yeah, I just think it's interesting though that oh shoot, did I just lose my thought again?
I'm not sure.
Oh no. I think this is where I was going. Yeah, Xbox just it's never really been their thing, and so they're shifting, and PlayStation seems to just still be focusing on their console, but what this guy he doesn't even mention the article, and I feel like maybe he doesn't know or realize, but PlayStation has streaming service. They do have PlayStation Now. Mm-hmm. It's at this point, it's not as revered as Game Pass, which is
a shame because it's actually really excellent.
Yeah, it doesn't get the credit that it deserves. It's not praised like it is, but it's pretty dang amazing. And it's only going to get better, actually, because it's switching over to using Azure service, which I know that's Microsoft. So Sony is actually going to be paying Microsoft. But I think, because I think that was the article that came out sometime last year, is like in the next year or two, they're switching over to Azure servers. So, okay, say in the next year now, because that was last year when we read that article, the next year from this point, they switch over to Azure servers. Yeah, they're kicking Microsoft a few bucks. But if PlayStation has the better game lineup and the better, like app and stuff, like if they can nail down a good app and have it available everywhere, just like Xbox is, like PlayStation's not as far behind as this article makes it sound like they are. And that's why I agreed with you with that. This guy is obviously very heavily Xbox biased, because you can tell, because he's totally oblivious to what's happening in the PlayStation ecosystem, and like PlayStation's not that far behind. Yeah, so I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think some of the points that he makes in the article is that the infrastructure is behind the large companies like Amazon, Google Stadia.
Yeah.
But we're seeing right now that like Google Stadia is really not doing great. It's,
even with the infrastructure, it's garbage.
And they definitely do. Google Stadia, Google has probably a better infrastructure than any other company. And so that's why a lot of us, including you and I, were kind of excited at the prospect of Google Stadia. And it just really hasn't come to fruition like that. I mean, I feel like they've kind of become an afterthought and kind of a joke. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't put my money on them right now. I'm not saying that they can't, turn around and do something really great, but as of right now, it's not looking so hot for Google.
Yeah. And there's actually even a quote from Phil Spencer, who's the head of Xbox. He says, when you talk about Nintendo and Sony, we have a ton of respect for them, but we see Amazon and Google as the main competitors going forward. That's not to disrespect Nintendo and Sony, but the traditional gaming companies are somewhat out of position. I guess they could try to recreate Azure, but we've invested tens of billions of dollars in cloud over the years. I don't want to be in a fight or format wars with those guys while Amazon and Google are focusing on how to get gaming to 7 billion people around the world. Ultimately, that's the goal. Again, well, that's even the more interesting thing. Even Phil Spencer it's almost like he's forgotten that PlayStation is planning on using their own Azure servers. Mm-hmm. Like it's like PlayStation's not far behind. It's like they don't need to recreate it. They're just going to use it.
Right.
They're just going to take all of their amazing stuff that they have and just use your services.
Right.
And like I said, Microsoft is going to get kickback from that, but they're just going to get a small cut compared to what Sony's going to be getting off their PlayStation Now service once they kick over to that new.
Well, think about it like this. A company like Amazon is so big. How many times do we end up getting Amazon packages at our house?
Oh, we get like there's weeks where we get something every day.
Or utilizing Amazon streaming service like Amazon Instant View, which when you have Amazon Prime, a lot of times they have that.
Stuff,
yeah. And I'll tell you what, I use it, love it. They have some Amazon Prime original stuff that's fantastic. Can you imagine having that Amazon Prime app on your smart television and being able to click on it for gaming and to go right to gaming? I mean, that's essentially what the future is going to look like. That's what they're projecting it to look like. Yeah. And that's all that this article is stating, is that Spencer is looking at Google and Amazon as being the real threats to Xbox, saying like, we're not really going to be concerned about consoles and stuff like that. I think that they still need to be worried about PlayStation, because one way or the other, PlayStation is, and forever will be putting out better content, better exclusive games than Xbox. And really, that's what I want as a gamer, and I think that's what most people want. Isn't the cheaper service, isn't the, everybody's got Xbox, whatever. No, they're more concerned with who's putting out the games that I want to play.
Yeah, and obviously everyone's tastes are different. So if your tastes lean more towards Xbox, then great, you're in luck, because you're in the next year you're probably going to be able to get Stadia for $10 a month and play on any device you want. But for the rest of the time, as long as PlayStation is putting out the games I want, I'm still going to buy a box that sits in my living room and play whatever, God of War 10. Yeah.
And this could very well be the last of the boxes.
Right.
For PlayStation 5 and for Xbox. So, but I still think PlayStation 5 is going to kick Xbox X Series butt.
Yeah.
If they were to like have a wrestling match or an MMA fight, I'm pretty sure that PlayStation's going to make Xbox tap.
Yeah.
Probably like a Conor McGregor fight where it's like super fast. You're like pissed you paid for the pay-per-view.
Do you see the?
I did.
Yeah. So
like 40 seconds.
Yeah. So we have that Disney package. So it's Disney, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, and you can't watch a fight until it's like you have to wait until the next fight comes out, and then you can watch the last fight. And I watched the Conor McGregor fight like the last week when the other fight was happening. And I was like, holy smokes. Like, it was like 40 seconds, boom, down, like shoulder to the face, like broke dude's nose.
I watched it. I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan, but I watched it after it was free.
How quick it happened. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. With this article, though, I do want to state, because I know I'm still going to get hate tweets. I'm going to get messages in the Discord. Kajoma likes to argue with me about everything.
But I want to say, before you argue with him, Kajoma, I've always liked you. And no, I appreciate it. This was a great article.
No. Yeah. So that's what I was getting at. Like, I wanted to say, like, this is a fantastic article. Like, even though we're kind of like poo-pooing it, it seems like we're poo-pooing. We're really not. Like,
no.
It's more just like there's some information that he didn't get quite right. Like, he nailed a lot of points and he made a lot of good points. There's a lot of things where I'm like, okay, yeah, no, you're 100% right. But I feel like he was willing to dream and do a little hypothetical on the Xbox side.
Right.
And like, oh, where they're going, what they're going to do. And on the PlayStation side, he's like, they're never going to do anything. It's like, well, you don't know that. Like, why don't you use a little imagination for the PlayStation side just the same way you did Xbox? Like, they already have all this stuff set up. And
I think the automatic assumption is that currently Sony doesn't have the infrastructure for that.
Which is 100% true.
Yeah.
But again, I think a lot of people forgot that news article that came out last year because it was a small article. It didn't make a big splash in the news, but yeah, they're planning on using Azure. And once that happens, they're going to be just as good, if not better.
Or Azure, if you prefer.
Cool, guys. Well, that's that. If you have any more thoughts on that news article, like I said, I'm going to tweet that out, put it on social media, probably mostly just Twitter. Let's just stick with Twitter. No one really goes to Facebook. It's just like my mom on there, just commenting and stuff.
I go to Facebook.
It's just the old people on there. Like, my parents.
Kind of hurts a little bit.
No, so I'll post it on Facebook. I'll post the article on Facebook and Twitter. And if you guys have any thoughts or comments or concerns or whatever, let us know, because I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this article. But those are, we obviously shared our thoughts. And
you know what? I'm curious, because I don't think we've ever done this on the show. If you can, reach out to us on Twitter at Super Gamer Boys. Let us know. PlayStation or Xbox?
You mean for like if they're going to buy next gen, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which one are you going for?
I mean, I can do a poll. You can do polls on Twitter.
Let's do that. Let's do a poll.
I could just do a poll.
Do we have to dance on it?
Nope.
No dancing on the pole. That seems kind of weird, but okay. Why don't you make one of those magic polls?
I will.
That would be amazing.
Cool.
Go and vote on it.
Go vote. That's your responsibility as an American.
Yeah.
And wherever else you're from. Because I know we have people not from America who listen to this.
That's totally true.
Thank you guys so much for listening this week. If you forgot at the beginning of the show, we mentioned our Patreon, patreon.com/supergamerboys. If you go support us there, you can get this show early. Tonight after I record, I upload it to Patreon. You have a private RSS feed through that. What you do, your favorite podcast app, you copy and paste that little, URL over to your app. Boom, you get all the episodes early, and you don't have to use a janky Patreon app. You can just use your regular, Apple Podcast, Overcast, Spotify, whatever you want. $1 a month. You get it early. It's awesome. supergamerboys.com/store. Remember, you can get this sweet shirt. Boom. You can even get it in different colors. There's like 4 or 5 different colors.
And there's some ladies tees that are out there. They're pretty nice.
Ladies fits, colors. Yeah. So it comes in like gray. I think there's like a maroon color, like a dark blue. You can get it in black. There's also the cartridge tee, which is like our cartridge logo.
You probably can't tell this is a ladies tee right now. It's one of those curvy form. I'm sorry, keep going.
We also have the Nerdy Nudes shirt. If you want to get your hands on a Nerdy Nudes shirt, those are fun. I like the colors of those ones. There's like a purple one with white.
It is
and
awesome.
Then a yellow one with the black. I almost want to get a couple of those, but gotta save up my pennies. Remember, you can rate and review us. Please go rate and review us. It means so much. It really helps us a lot, too.
Especially if you do so on Apple Podcast. That helps tremendously.
Tons and tons. During the week, if you want to find us or contribute to this show, you go to supergamerboys.com. Twitter and Instagram, we're at supergamerboys. Facebook.com/supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter at gmorlang. That's GMORLANG. And JJ's on Twitter at
JJ Purdom, and I occasionally go on there and check my page.
Never.
It happens.
Thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. You can check her out on Instagram at Ground Floor Graphics and Facebook.com/Ground Floor Graphics. Alrighty.
All right.
Been a good one.
It's been a great one. Like always. Yeah. You didn't say anything that I'm going to have to edit out. You kept all the racism down this time around. Dude. I'm so proud of you, Garrett. The cursing just kind of like finally curtailed. But mostly the racism. Like the rampant racism.
Yeah, you know me. Just, yep.
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 Folks, it's so good for us to be right back here in the studio with you in your little ear holes each and every week. For Garrett Morlang, I'm JJ Purdom. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
To men. And we'll catch y'all on the flippity flop.
You just added the to men thing, right?
Like that?
Okay, I think.
Good.